Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Cooking is never an easy prospect. If you want something good, generally you have to spend hours and hours slaving over a hot stove. If you want something healthy, well, it's generally going to be complete crap, and it's going to taste like something that was made out of plastic. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a recipe of something that is both easy and healthy and tastes good. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a look at the Tex-Mex classic that is taco soup. First, we need to get together all of the ingredients, and unlike with some other dishes, there are only a few that are required, and thankfully they are easy to find and quite inexpensive. You will need 1 pound of ground meat, 1 package mild, less salt taco seasoning. For the purposes of this video, I'm using the McCormick brand, 1 10-ounce can dried tomatoes with green chilies. As onions will of course vary in size and shape, I can only give a general recommendation as to the size. You will need a small to medium yellow or white onion, as either type can be used. You will then need 1/3 cup of rice, but it does not need to be a 100% exact measurement. Then you will need 2 to 3 cups of water. You will need to use the Mark I eyeball to determine just how much water you will need. Lastly, you will need some salt and pepper, and how much you add is up to you. First, you need to brown the ground meat. One thing you need to keep in mind is the fact that all stoves will differ from one another. I am using an electric stove, and it will differ from other electric stoves, and will certainly differ from gas stoves. On this stove here, I am browning it at half heat. You are going to keep stirring the meat around until no pink is left in sight. Add salt and pepper for taste, but do not add all that much salt, as the taco mix itself already has salt in it, and you do not want to oversalt the dish. Once the ground meat is browned, you are then going to potentially need to do the most tedious aspect of the dish, and that is drain away all the grease. You do not have to do this, but it is strongly recommended as it will make the dish substantially healthier. There are different methods of draining the grease. You can use a colander and just dump the lot into it, or you can do my rather tedious method of spooning it out. I do this because it ensures that I have way less to clean up afterwards. Once you have spooned out the grease, dispose of it in a reasonable manner. I personally store the grease in a coffee can, and when it reaches a certain level, I just recycle it. I would not recommend just pouring it down the drain, as that can clog your pipes and cause plumbing issues. Once the grease has been removed, that is when you pour in 2 cups of water, add the seasoning mix, pour in the tomatoes and chilies, add the rice, and then finally the onion. Now, when it comes to onions, there are many methods of preparation. What I generally do is cut the top and bottom off, and then cut it in half. Now, for the purposes of this video, I am going to show 2 methods of dicing the onion. You can dice it by cutting it into little pieces, or you can slice it. Personally, I prefer the slices as it makes it easier to get into the pot. And ease of use is, for me at least, the order of the day when it comes to cooking. For the purposes of this video, I'm putting the heat on medium, and I'm going to slow boil it for 20 to 30 minutes until the rice is done. You will be able to tell when the rice is done by determining its softness. Once the rice is done cooking, you will need to determine how much of that 1/3 cup of water you will want to add. And it all comes down to how thick you want the soup to be. For the review, I have only added half of that 1/3 cup. After you stir that in, it should be done. Give it a check first to make sure everything is to your liking, and then if it is, ladle some out and eat up. Taco soup is an easy and healthy meal that has little prep and little cleaning. It is the perfect meal for those such as myself who want something good without all the tedium and difficulty. It is also a meal that reheats well, meaning you can fix it early in the week and eat it for several days. The overall quality of the dish is considerable, as it is very flavorful and provides a complex meal in just one bowl. Remember, when cooking it yourself, you can add more vegetables. You can use a spicier taco seasoning mix. In short, it is a meal that is easy but quite customizable and is a good choice for the novice cook, or if you're like me, a cook who doesn't want to spend hours slaving over a hot, bloody stove. And so, I am GeneralLotz, wishing you good pulled pork and good Louisiana fried chicken, or whatever makes you happy. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and if you can, please consider supporting me on Patreon so that I can continue bringing you this awesome content.